What I like to do on this show is bring you people that I like, because I think if I like them, you'll probably like them. Now, we've got comedian, actor and writer Stewart Francis for you. He's performed all over the world, in North America, Great Britain, Europe, Asia, South Africa. He's been all over. He's a regular on Mock the Week and 8 out of 10 Cats, and he's currently supporting Ricky Gervais on tour. That's not bad, is it? He's just extended his tour, the Tour de Francis. Very good. He's coming back by popular demand. He'll be at Leeds Town Hall tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing him. Stewart Francis, how are you?
Hello, Alex. I'm well, thank you.
Do you know what? I love you. You're different and unique, and you tell a joke. Thank God for you.
Thank you. Someone's got to do it. Why not me?
It seems like the funny and the fun has gone out of comedy these days.
I don't know. I don't see a lot of it. I don't want to be distracted by other performances, but there's some funny people around.
That's curious. So you're not interested in watching anybody else in case you were ever accused of being like them?
Not so much. Not enough guys do it the way I like it. Yeah, and that's the way I do it. And that's just from the second I get on stage to the second I leave, I'm just trying to make you laugh, and that's it. But some can be a little too self-indulgent and too waffling, and I just professionally I think, they're just filling time with waffle. You know, when you could have put 2 or 3 nice gags in there. How
would you describe yourself then for anybody who hasn't heard of you?
Hilarious. That's how I would describe me.
See, I wouldn't. I would say delicious. That's how.
Nice. Both. I'm just try to be funny, crack some gags, give you a big bang for your buck, and then off we go. We live our separate lives.
I like that. Is it on a poster anywhere? Bang for your buck. I like that.
No. Should I put it up? Yeah.
Oh, I think so. That's marvellous. How do I say this? I think you come from a great tradition of front of cloth comedians where it's not about telling stories that have happened in your life and we talk for about 5 minutes and then eventually we get to something funny.
Yeah.
You don't like to keep us waiting too long, and I love that about you. You are consistently funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And probably for those reasons, I love to watch comedians like that. Like Lee Mack is one of my favorite comedians because you just know every minute there's going to be something hilarious out of that man's mouth, as opposed to, like you're saying, waffle for 5 minutes and a slight payoff at the end. And I don't reveal myself. When you leave one of my shows, you have no idea anything about me because I contradict myself several times, just in the form of just putting out as many gags as possible. Some will contradict each other. Well, I thought he was married. No, now he's single. Now he's a woman. What? I'm so confused.
Sounds a bit like my radio show, to be perfectly honest with you. And that mystique is great because it means you can play with us and we take you for what you say and we're not buying into anything else. Is that important to you, that you keep your privacy as to who you are? You have a showbiz life and that's all we need to hear about.
I think so. It's kind of it's not a true reflection of my personality going on stage, believe it or not. I'm not that self-indulgent. I've assessed it in 2 categories, comedians who like to make people laugh and those that need to make people laugh. And I'm definitely in the former. I like to make people laugh. I like the structure of a joke. I don't need your approval. Obviously I do in a performance sense, but personally I don't need that. But it's just what I've ended up doing, and I'm grateful for it because this tour, for example, is just a dream come true in a sense. But it's not who I am. I'd love to, the dream gig would be to be a published cartoonist, which I'm working at. I'm trying to get a book deal right now. And that's because comedy's risen my profile to a point where I might be able to do that. So that would be happy days indeed.
Oh, don't tell me you're one of those comedians crying on the inside because you're not doing what you really want to do.
Absolutely not. I'm living a charmed life. I love what I do. In that, comedy allows me to spend a lot of time traveling with my wife and not working. You know, I was a funny fellow who never wanted to work. So I'm grateful to comedy. So I hope that doesn't come across. But it's just, as a personality-wise, that's not who I am. To stand in front of people, hey, look at me, that's not me.
And tell me about your beginnings. I notice you have, is that a Bristol accent or Birmingham? It's St. Albans. There might be a little. There's a small portion of St. Albans called the Canada. Right. So that's it's Canadian accent that you're picking up on. Now, I went over to Montreal a couple of years ago to that Montreal Comedy Festival, and it has to have been one of the most depressing days of my life, and weeks, in fact. A, because they don't treat you very well. They put you in a rubbish hotel, and then you have to see every dreadful act that wants to perform there, of which there are a few gems. I presume you must have crossed paths with Montreal from time to time.
Yeah, I've done it 4 times, and each time they outdo themselves with getting me pissed off, if you don't mind me saying. It's amazing what they've done. And the last time I went back is because the previous time they screwed up so horribly that they said you can come back whenever you want. And I thought, okay, I'll come back next year, strike while the iron's hot. And then they dropped the ball again. And that's down to, like, horrible introductions, like, Joan Rivers was introducing. I'm standing backstage, anxious to get out there and entertain these 3,000 people in the TV audience. But the introduction was this next comedian is a young, funny Irishman. And I turned to the woman beside me. I said, I'm none of those three things. I'm not young, not funny, not Irish. Please welcome to the stage Jason Byrne. So the door opens up, and there I am, revealed to the world. Like, are you kidding? So they were apologetic, and they said, come back whenever you want. So, okay, I'll go back next year. So my hostess was Whoopi Goldberg. I made sure that I read the intro during rehearsal, and I said, please don't mention that I'm from Canada, because I do one of my first gags is a little switcheroo. So please don't mention Canada. Okay, we'll strike that from the introduction. Whoopi Goldberg, please welcome Canada's own Stewart Francis. And it's like, oh my, are you doing this deliberately? But anyway, so
is it the fact that they don't care or they don't like you? What do you think it is?
I don't know. I can't take it personally. I think they've been doing it for about 27, 28 years. So you would have thought they'd have it down by now, but not my case.
I notice you're from Canada, but you don't say "a" at the end of every sentence.
I don't think we do. I think that's a stereotype, but it could be a lot worse. We could be known as people that invade countries and are fat, and I don't need to say who I'm talking about, but yeah, well, apparently we say a lot and oot and a boot.
Yes, so I think it's probably South Park that's done that, isn't it? Really, their fault, because they did "Hate Canada," didn't they? As one of their songs.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of the animated shows like South Park, Simpsons. I think they have Canadian writers on it, because when they do Canada spoofs, it's so to the bone, it's so accurate, it's so funny. And lovingly, too, because it's how can you hate Canada?
Hey, I want to talk to you about your work on TV. You've written for some of the greats and performed for them. I know that you're a writer on the Jay Leno show, who's had an interesting couple of years, being got rid of and brought back and all that. How difficult is it writing for someone else? Because you've got to imagine them saying it, haven't you?
Exactly. You have to hear their voice, so it's not that difficult at all, because he's so iconic. He's the host of the Tonight Show, so you can actually hear him doing each joke that you would write, and you submit them and just hope for the best.
And you have to be quite selfless to do that. You see, I have a massive ego, Stuart, and if I were to write material, I'd want to do it myself.
Well, it's perfect for me, because I'm not a topical comedian, so I can think of topical things. I put my mind to it, read the paper, come up with a couple of gags. He is topical. It's as fresh as today's bread. So he would do it that night in the monologue. So I was flexing different muscles, but yeah, it was a good challenge. I liked it.
I'd like people to go to YouTube and search you, because truly you're a genius at what you do and totally unique and brilliant. Is that okay, me endorsing that? Because of course that's nicking your material for them to watch, so they don't have to pay to come and see you live.
Well, no, hopefully you won't see that much. You'll just see a couple of minutes, but it's essentially that. And it's stuff that I've done. What I do is I do a lot of the same stuff on TV. I don't want to give it all away. So I do TV-friendly stuff. But then you're going to come to the show and see an hour and 5 minutes of similar stuff, but the stuff that you'd never seen before. So I'm fine with them going and checking me out, hopefully enjoying what they see, and then coming to the show tonight.
I love these panel shows, but the one I'm really not fond of, and Darragh O'Brien is always welcome on this programme, one of my favourite people, but that Mock the Week drives me insane. It's better this series because Frankie's not on it and there's not so much over-talking, but it does seem like it's incredibly competitive, that one. How do you fit into that? Because you're more of a gentle comedian, aren't you?
Yeah, you just got to wait for your moment, and it's a 2.5 hour conversation, essentially. It's kind of edited down to half an hour, so you're kind of sitting on the edge of your seat for 2.5 hours, just waiting to get your, it's like a conversation at a cocktail party. You're just waiting to get to say something. I was going to say that. And then, here I go. No, I'll say it next. So that kind of stuff for 2.5 hours.
Do you wonder though why the BBC are wasting your time though? If it's only a half an hour program, why are they doing 2.5 hours of it?
Well, because they want to get as much gold out of that vein as possible. So it's you, the viewing audience, deserve the best. So that's what they do. And these panel shows tend to be about that long to film, and then they just edit it down to the best.
Is that a great compliment when you're asked to do that, or 8 out of 10 cats? Because only the best get on. There's loads of people competing.
I guess so. I didn't know much about either one. I've only done 8 out of 10 cats once, and I didn't enjoy that experience nearly as much. Not on stage, but backstage. I find the people at Mock the Week are just lovely. It's a real nice team energy there. So I didn't know much about them going in. I went in relatively blind, but I've now realized how significant Mock the Week is. And just the front row of my audience is usually 15-year-old boys, which is the demographic of Mock the Week, so it's always nice.
In terms of those around you now who you think are up there with the best, who are you enjoying watching? I know you've worked with Omid Jalili. He's one of my favourites.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's a real sweet fella, too. Yeah, I like him. Simon Evans, who was, I think, just brilliant. He's starting to get more and more TV work, which is fantastic, because I think he's terrific. Lee Mack is mentioned. Harry Hill, I enjoy watching his stand-up.
What about this Michael McIntyre? He seems to use a lot of shoe leather, doesn't he?
Yes, I like him too. I'm sorry I omitted him, because I don't get the backlash. I haven't been working here long enough to resent him for his success. I don't think I would have anyway, because I think he's a funny fellow.
Comedians are quite bitchy, aren't they? And they don't like it when somebody gets mega success quickly. The fact that he'd been doing it for years and years before and people actually like him is neither here nor there, they're the other thing.
Well, I think humans can be quite selfish. You know, the new guy at the office, why is he getting more than me? Why is he getting promoted? I think we are that. That's our nature, I guess.
Listen, I've loved talking to you. Will you come on again? It's always nice to speak to someone who is new and brilliant. And when I say new, only new to me, because you've been doing this forever. And Stewart Francis is a name that's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And congratulations on such a wonderful career so far.
Thank you very much. My DVD comes out November 22nd, just in time for November 23rd.
Will you come on again then and talk about the DVD, and we'll play some clips? I'd love that.
Beautiful.
Stewart Francis, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.